Hello, my friend, it is so good to have you here today. Have you ever looked at a young child lost in play and wondered what beautiful, secret worlds are turning inside their mind? Have you ever felt that there was a grand melody, a beautiful song waiting inside of you, just waiting for the right moment to be born? Today, I want to take you on a journey. We are going traveling back in time, through the mists of history, to a cold winter in the year 1756. We are visiting a small, crowded room in the city of Salzburg, Austria. In that room, a tiny baby boy has just entered the world. His parents name him Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. No one in that room knows it yet, but this little boy does not just live in the world. The world, with all its noise and chaos, is about to live inside his music. He is the child who hears music that no one else can. Picture this scene, my friend. It is a quiet evening. The winter wind is howling outside the window, rattling the old wooden shutters. Inside, the room is lit only by the soft, dancing orange glow of a single candle. There is no television. There are no smartphones. There is only the sound of the wind and the ticking of a grandfather clock. Tick, tock, tick, tock. But for little Wolfgang, the world is never truly quiet. Where you and I hear a creaking floorboard, he hears a deep, steady bass note. Where you and I hear the rain tapping on the glass, he hears a rhythmic dance, a joyful song. He has an older sister named Nano. She is 7 years old, and their father, Leopold, is teaching her to play the clavier, a small, delicate ancestor of the modern piano. Wolfgang is only 3 years old. He is so small that his chin barely reaches the edge of the wooden keyboard. He stands on his tiptoes, his eyes wide with wonder. He watches his sister's fingers fly across the keys like little white birds. Can you imagine, my friend, what is happening inside that tiny boy's head? The music is not just a sound to him. It is a physical feeling. It is a bright light. When his father finishes the lesson and leaves the room, little Wolfgang climbs onto the heavy wooden bench. His small feet dangle high above the floor. He stretches out his tiny hands. He presses a single key. Plink. It is a perfect note. He smiles. He presses another, and then another. He is not hitting the keys randomly like other children do. He is searching for notes that love each other. He is looking for chords that hold hands. When he finds them, a beautiful, pure smile lights up his face. His father walks back into the room. Leopold is a strict man, a professional musician who rarely smiles. But when he looks at his 3-year-old son, his jaw drops in disbelief. The boy is playing a perfect melody. Tears fill the father's eyes. Leopold realizes, in that exact moment, that his son is not ordinary. He is a miracle. By the time Wolfgang is 5 years old, he is not just playing music. He is writing it. He sits at a small table, his fingers stained with dark blue ink. He cannot even write the words of his own language correctly yet, but he can write musical notes with absolute perfection. His father decides that the world must see this miracle. Leopold packs their few belongings into a cold, bumpy wooden carriage. And so the journey begins. The Grand Tour of Europe, 1762 to 1766. Salzburg to Munich to Vienna to Paris to London. For years of constant travel on rough roads, performing for kings and queens. Picture the scene. A grand palace in Vienna. The floor is made of polished white marble that reflects the light of 1,000 crystal chandeliers. The air smells of expensive French perfume, roasted meats, and sweet wine. The richest noblemen and women of Europe are sitting in gold-plated chairs. They are wearing heavy silk robes and tall, powdered white wigs. They are whispering, skeptical, waiting to be entertained. At the end of the room sits a massive, beautiful harpsichord, and walking toward it is a tiny 6-year-old boy. He is wearing a miniature court suit of lilac silk with gold embroidery and a tiny toy sword at his side. He looks like a doll. Some of the noblemen laugh softly behind their silk handkerchiefs. But then, little Wolfgang sits at the instrument. His father steps forward. To prove the boy's genius, Leopold takes a heavy silk cloth and covers the keyboard completely. Wolfgang cannot see his hands. He cannot see the keys. The room goes completely silent. You can hear only the breathing of the crowd. Wolfgang closes his eyes. He doesn't need to see the keys, my friend. Why? Because he sees the music inside his mind. He plays. His small hands move under the cloth with the speed and grace of a running stream. The music flows out, bright, joyful, complex, and beautiful. The laughter stops. The noblemen drop their glasses. The Empress of Austria, Maria Theresa, leans forward, her eyes filled with tears of wonder. When the song ends, the room explodes into applause. The little boy jumps down from the bench, runs straight to the Empress, climbs into her lap, and kisses her on the cheek. He is still just a child. He wants love. He wants to play. But can you see the hidden sadness here, my friend? While other children are playing in the mud, chasing hoops in the street, and scraping their knees, Wolfgang is living in carriages. He is breathing the dust of old roads. He is performing until his eyes burn with fatigue. That little hand, that right foot pressing the pedals, those tired eyes, they are carrying the financial weight of his entire family. His childhood is traded for gold coins and diamond rings given by kings. He is a wonder, yes, but he is also a prisoner of his own genius. Years pass, and the beautiful little boy grows into a young man. But the world is a cruel place for child stars who grow up. The kings and queens who clapped for the 6-year-old boy do not want to hire a 20-year-old man. The magic trick is over for them. They look at him and see just another musician looking for a job. Wolfgang returns to Salzburg. He gets a job working for the Archbishop of Salzburg. It is a secure job. It pays for his food and his clothes. But the Archbishop does not view Mozart as a genius. He views him as a servant, no different than the cook who roasts the chickens or the valet who cleans the boots. The Archbishop commands him, "Write only simple music. Do not make it complicated. Do not be proud." But how can you tell a river to stop flowing? How can you tell the wind to stop blowing? The music inside him is growing louder every day. It is exploding. He hears grand operas, magnificent symphonies, and beautiful concertos shouting inside his mind. He cannot trap them in a small town. He cannot let them be buried by a cruel master. One day, Mozart decides he has had enough. He argues with the Archbishop's representative. The argument is fierce. It ends with Mozart being literally kicked out of the room, kicked down the stairs by a court official. He is unemployed. He has very little money. His father is furious with him, writing him letters filled with anger. "You have ruined your life, Wolfgang. You must beg for your job back." But Mozart does not turn back. He packs his small bag and moves to Vienna, the capital of music. He chooses freedom over safety. He chooses the music inside him over the comfort of a servant's life. In Vienna, Mozart lives like a firework. He burns bright, hot, and beautiful. He meets a young woman named Constanze Weber. She is not rich, she is not a noble woman, but she understands his wild heart. They marry against his father's wishes. They live in a small apartment filled with laughter, sheets of messy music paper, and a beautiful dog. This is the golden time of his life. The music pours out of him like water from a broken dam. Have you ever wondered how an artist creates, my friend? Most composers sit at a piano, they play a note, they think, they erase, they cry, they start over. Not Mozart. Mozart creates the entire song inside his head before he ever touches a piece of paper. He could be walking down a noisy street, eating a bowl of soup, or playing a game of billiards with his friends. While he is laughing and talking, his mind is writing a symphony. When he finally sits down with his ink and paper, he is not composing. He is simply copying down what is already playing perfectly in his mind. Look at his original manuscripts today. There are no eraser marks. There are no scratches. There are no mistakes. It is as if the music was dictated to him directly by angels. He writes the Marriage of Figaro. He writes Don Giovanni. He writes the Magic Flute. The theaters of Vienna are packed. The people are humming his melodies in the streets. He earns large amounts of money. He buys beautiful furniture, expensive clothing, and a grand forte piano. But Mozart does not understand money. He spends it as fast as he makes it. He gives it away to friends who ask. He throws lavish parties. He lives for the present moment, never thinking about tomorrow. And tomorrow, my friend, is coming fast. And it is bringing darkness. The wind changes. A cold breath of misfortune blows through Vienna. The Austrian Empire goes to war, and suddenly people do not have money for theater tickets. The operas close. The students stop taking lessons. Mozart falls into deep poverty. He moves from his beautiful apartment to a small, dark room in a poor neighborhood. The winter is freezing, and he cannot afford wood for the fire. To stay warm, Mozart and his wife Constanze wrap themselves in blankets and dance around their small room, laughing to hide their tears. Then he gets sick. His body is exhausted from a lifetime of relentless work. His kidneys are failing. His joints swell with agonizing pain. He is only 35 years old, but his body feels like it is 80. And then a mysterious event happens. It sounds like a ghost story, but it is completely true. One dark, rainy evening, a tall stranger knocks on Mozart's door. The stranger is dressed completely in gray clothing, and his face is hidden by a dark hood. He holds out a letter. The letter is from an anonymous wealthy nobleman who wants to commission a requiem, a mass for the dead. The stranger offers a large amount of money, but says, "You must write this music quickly, and you must not try to find out who I am." Mozart, desperate for money to buy food and medicine, accepts the task. But as his sickness grows worse, Mozart's mind begins to wander into dark places. He looks at the gray stranger. He looks at the black ink on the page. He becomes terrified. He grabs his wife's hand and whispers, "Constanze, I am writing this requiem for myself. I am writing the music for my own funeral." His body is burning with fever. His hands are shaking. But that right foot, that brilliant mind, that music inside him will not stop. He lies in his bed, surrounded by sheets of white paper. He is too weak to hold the pen now. He calls his young student, Franz Sussmayr, to sit by his bedside. Mozart sings the melodies aloud through his cracked lips. He imitates the sound of the drums, ta-ta, ta-ta. He shows the student how the violins must cry in the lacrimosa section. He is giving his very last breaths to the music. On December 5th, 1791, at 1 o'clock in the morning, the music inside Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart finally goes silent. He turns his face to the wall and breathes his last breath. He dies so poor that his family cannot afford a private funeral. His body is placed in a simple wooden box and buried in a mass grave outside Vienna, alongside the poorest beggars of the city. A terrible storm is blowing, with heavy rain and wind. Not a single friend stands by his grave. He is left alone in the cold earth. It is a tragic ending, isn't it, my friend? It breaks the heart to think that a man who gave the world such beauty was thrown into a nameless grave like trash. But listen to me closely now. Here is what I want you to carry tonight. Here is the deep lesson of Mozart's life. The archbishop could kick him down the stairs. The kings could forget him. Poverty could steal his clothes and his fire. Sickness could destroy his body. But no one and nothing could ever touch the music inside him. His true wealth was not in the gold coins he lost, but in the beauty he carried in his soul. We live in a world that is very noisy, just like the world Mozart lived in. People will tell you who you should be. They will tell you to be realistic, to be quiet, to conform, to live like a servant to someone else's dream. They might kick you down the stairs of life. You might face winters where you feel cold and alone. But I want to ask you, what is the music inside you? Your music might not be a symphony. Your music might be a book you want to write. It might be a business you want to start. It might be a language you are trying to learn right now, at this very moment. Your music might simply be the kindness you want to give to a world that feels cold. Do not let the noise of the world drown out the secret song of your heart. Do not let fear bury your gift in a nameless grave. Like Mozart, choose freedom. Choose to play your song, even if the audience is small, even if your hands are shaking. Thank you so much for sitting with me today, my friend. It means the world to me that we can share these stories together. Now, I want to hear from you. Please go to the comment section below and tell me, what is the music inside your life right now? What is the dream or the passion that you are protecting from the noise of the world? I read your comments, and they bring so much joy to my heart. If you enjoyed this story, please lift up your hand and hit that like button, and subscribe to Radiant Reason, so we can keep walking down these beautiful roads of history together. In our next episode, we will travel to the foggy streets of London to meet a young man who was born in extreme poverty, who worked in a dark shoeblacking factory, but used his words to change the laws of the world and become the greatest storyteller of his age, Charles Dickens. Until then, my friend, keep listening, keep learning, and above all, keep playing the beautiful music inside your soul. Goodbye for now.